because we see some of the OPS supporters, they're distributing sweets. They're seeing this as a major relief. What next, Prapanch? Now a General Council meet has been reordered as per the court.
Now we could see, yes, this is, there's a sense of excitement, there's a sense of celebration in the air. Here we could see a lot of ADMK who are party cadres. Now we could see that this is a unified ADMK. As of now, as per the court order, this is a unified ADMK. There are no factions as of now. It is a single camp where the ADMK has two leaders, which is essentially the coordinator and joint coordinator.
All right, I'll come back to you, Prapanch. Let's quickly play out the legal response coming in for the moment.
நீதிமன்றம் அளித்துள்ளது என்பதை நாங்கள் தாழ்மையுடன் தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறோம். இருபத்தி 23/6/2022 அந்த தேதிக்கு முன்பு இருந்த நிலைமைதான் தொடர வேண்டும். அதாவது ஒருங்கிணைப்பாளர் இணை ஒருங்கிணைப்பாளர் பதவி தொடர்ச்சியாக நீடிக்கின்றது என்று கூறும் பட்சத்தில் 1/7/2022 அன்று கழகத்தின் தலைமை கழக நிர்வாகிகள் இந்த இரண்டு பதவிகளும் காலாவதியாகிவிட்டது. அதனால் எங்களுக்கு தான் இந்த கூட்டத்தை கூட்டுவதற்கு அதிகாரம் உள்ளது என்று எடுத்து வைத்த வாதம் தள்ளுபடி செய்யப்பட்டது. எனவே 11/7/2022 கொண்டு வரப்பட்ட அனைத்து தீர்மானம் செல்லத்தக்கது அல்ல, அது நிராகரிக்கப்பட்டு விட்டது என்றே அர்த்தம். அவ்வாறு தான் நீதிமன்றம் உத்தரவிட்டுள்ளது.
July 11 General Council meeting, the decisions taken in the July 11 General Council meeting are nullified, which essentially means that the dual leadership which was existing in 23rd of June still continues.
அரவிந்த் பாண்டியன் மற்றும் குரு கிருஷ்ணகுமார் மற்றும் ஸ்ரீராம் அவர்கள் எடுத்து வைத்த வாதங்கள் முக்கிய அம்சம் என்னவெனில்
All right, so there we heard the lawyer's response coming in. This is big, Prapanch, because as per the Madras High Court now, all the decisions taken on July 11 General Council meet stand nullified. This takes the situation back to before 11th of July, which means the dual leadership continues, which means EPS is no longer the interim General Secretary as well.
That's right. Now, this is a very huge setback because, in fact, initially when on July 11th, the court had given permission for the Edappadi Palanisamy camp to conduct the General Council meeting. There was a celebration in Edappadi Palanisamy camp, and in fact, we could see on the same day, O Panneerselvam had gone to the party headquarters. There, in fact, there was a clash that has taken place between the Edappadi and O Panneerselvam faction, and subsequently we could see that that had taken a, in fact, violent turn. And subsequently, we could see several cases were filed. Now, OPS had challenged the General Council meeting that was conducted on 11th, and now we could see that the court
and
has
we see a lot of people gathering around you. Prapanch, I'll come back to you in just a bit. Let me quickly take in a word from Mr. Rajagopalan, who is joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Rajagopalan, what do you make of this? Now, status quo as on June 23rd has been ordered. But what do you make of the series of events that we've seen the last couple of months? First in came the big relief for the EPS camp. You know, he was appointed as the interim General Secretary. We saw a lot of chaos break out outside the party headquarters. The building was thereafter sealed. After so much drama that took place, we're back to what stood as on June 23rd.
Madam, political issues have gone to the court and it has become a legal issue. Mr. Edappadi Palanisamy has a very victory, because he has the organizational capacity, etc. But the court has given a verdict that dual secretary or joint secretaryship will continue. Therefore, it is a setback to Mr. EPS. Now we have to wait and watch whether Edappadi Palanisamy comes to Supreme Court or goes for a review. Apart from that, politically giving an interpretation, this is what Mr. Narendra Modi and Amit Shah have been telling. Join together, don't fight each other, get together, get Sasikala and Triti with Dinakaran also on fold. Therefore, we can defeat DMK. But now, Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, that is MK Stalin, is playing politics into ADMK through OPS. That is what the impression now gaining momentum. Apart from that, my concluding remark is, Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, BJP's formula will work in 2024. All the dissident factions and splinter groups of ADMK under the leadership of Jayalalitha, which was in before her death, must reunite and take the DMK head on. Otherwise, the voters will be split. voters will split into Tevar and counter community basis. Therefore, the caste-ridden politics will surface again in Tamil Nadu, and it is a setback for EPS and a victory for O Panneerselvam.
But Mr. Rajagopalan, do you believe that, the differences between the two camps have reached a point of no return? Because like you pointed out and you broke down for us, if that remains the case in the coming future as well, as against the wishes of the BJP too in the state of Tamil Nadu, it's going to be advantage DMK.
I don't think so. The 1 year term of DMK, the MK Stalin, was facing a lot of crises, internal problems, and also the government financial problems. That is why the Chief Minister MK Stalin has come to Delhi to meet Prime Minister. And second thing, that what you are understanding may be right, but 2024 is 1 year away, madam. Things are going to settle down. DMK will definitely play politics into ADMK because they want to weaken the opposition, and the Tamil Nadu voters, still MGR and Jayalalitha, are very, emotional attachment towards the ADMK cadre. Therefore, my understanding is if in 2024 Lok Sabha elections, all the factions of ADMK come together, today's judgment will be, politically handled by EPS and OPS. But as you asked me, the two have gone to the extreme step. They did not, having a meeting eye on any issues. Therefore, it's going to be a problem. There will be a vertical split in ADMK. That is what I could come to
Absolutely.
conclusion.
The two have been headed in a different direction, but this is yet another opportunity for the two of them to possibly, shake hands and get back together. How much of that is a real possibility is the big question. Let me go back to Prapanch on that. But Prapanch, now, the Madras High Court has clearly ordered in favor of OPS, has ordered status quo ante as on 23rd June, and we see how celebrations have already begun. As far as the OPS cadre is concerned, the OPS supporters go in Tamil Nadu. What's the sentiment you're picking up?
Now there's a celebration, there's an air of, in fact, excitement over here. People are celebrating, distributing sweets, and they are raising slogans in favor of O Panneerselvam. And also in some time, O Panneerselvam is expected to come and address the media shortly. However, we need to also understand that this decision can also be challenged. In fact, D. Jayakumar, a supporter of Edappadi Palanisamy, has in fact stated that ADMK council is supreme for all decisions, and they will once again discuss among themselves, and in fact they will decide a further course of action, a legal action forward. But however, we need to understand this is seen as a temporary relief for O Panneerselvam camp, because earlier it was completely, in fact, Edappadi Palanisamy was on the victory run. In fact, on July 11, the General Council meeting was in fact cementing almost a victory for Edappadi Palanisamy, but O Panneerselvam did not budge, and he constantly, in fact, sought legal avenues to, in fact, fight it out. And subsequently, we are now able to see that this has, in fact, bore some fruits, in fact, in favor of O Panneerselvam. Now, the court has ordered that the status quo that was maintained on 23rd will be maintained, which essentially means that O Panneerselvam and Edappadi Palanisamy are, in fact, the coordinator and joint coordinator of the party, which will essentially meet once the General Council meeting is held, because O Panneerselvam and Edappadi Palanisamy, the coordinator and joint coordinator, have to convene the, in fact, General Council meeting. Initially, we could also see that the court had questioned was the, in fact, General Council meeting convened as per the bylaws of the AIADMK party. That was one of the major questions that was put forth by the court, and now we could see that after the arguments, we are able to understand that the General Council meeting will be held once again. But in that General Council meeting, what kind of decisions are being taken? Because before the Council presents the resolution on the in the meeting, it will also be given to both Edappadi Palanisamy and O Panneerselvam for their ratification, which we had seen initially. Now, what kind of resolutions we pass in that? Will that happen? And once again, on June 23rd, we could see that in spite of several resolutions, in spite of 23 resolutions that were tabled in the General Council meeting, we could see that, in fact, C.V. Shanmugam coming out and saying that they reject all the 23 resolutions because court had also stated that no new resolutions should be passed. And now, will the similar kind of scenes unfold once again when the General Council meeting will be held? Is once again a big question. What kind of a support does O Panneerselvam enjoy? Because we could see majority of General Council members were showing support to Edappadi Palanisamy, and predominantly major group of MLAs, nearly 63 MLAs were supporting Edappadi Palanisamy. Only few of MLAs, literally 3 MLAs and a handful of in fact district secretaries were in fact supporting O Panneerselvam. So what kind of a support does O Panneerselvam have? Because on General Council meeting that happened on 23, people and the General Council members supporting Edappadi Palanisamy had hurled water bottles on O Panneerselvam while he was leaving on that particular day. Slogans against O Panneerselvam were shouted, and now we could see, can a similar scene be unfolded once again when the General Council meeting is held? Because the court has ordered that a new General Council meeting will be held because the July 11 General Council meeting has become nullified. Since that has happened, now since once again O Panneerselvam and Edappadi Palanisamy are the coordinator and joint coordinator, what kind of scenes will be unfolded in the new General Council meeting that will be held? Because it was in fact, cadres were in fact furious. Cadres did not want O Panneerselvam over there, because while O Panneerselvam was leaving on that particular day, on June 23rd this year, cadres, in fact O Panneerselvam, the supporters of Edappadi Palanisamy were hurling bottles. They were shouting slogans against O Panneerselvam, and in fact his son who had come. We could see a lot of ruckus. On July 11, once again we could see when Edappadi Palanisamy and his supporters were holding a General Council meeting. On the other hand, O Panneerselvam had in fact gone to the party headquarters. There he barged into the party headquarters. We could also see dramatic visuals of him breaking open the doors of the party headquarters, and also his supporters taking out several of the documents and several of the papers from the party headquarters. That was also filed as a case before the Madras High Court. Now there were several incidences that had happened. Now it has the relationship between the O Panneerselvam and Edappadi Palanisamy had in fact gone very sour.
So all eyes really on the next General Council meeting. If I could bring in Mr. Rajagopalan into the conversation once again, and we have to give it to OPS as well on this, Mr. Rajagopalan. All through this period after the July 11 General Council meeting, it was setback after setback for OPS. You know, eventually the Madras High Court itself handed over the AIDMK headquarters also to EPS. You know, there was a fight that erupted over the AIDMK funds. It was certainly one setback after the other, yet he did not give up. Yet he kept weighing his legal options, and it's eventually turned out in his favor.
Of course, Edappadi Palanisamy today temporarily has been defeated legally. But politically, madam, I would like to say two important things for the breaking of the judgment for your viewers' benefit. One, the two-leaf symbol, what happens to that? If the elections are held, both of them, EPS and OPS, have signed the two-leaf symbol Form B, Election Commission symbol. That is one important. Second thing, will there be a unity again between EPS and OPS, which I don't think it's happening. Third, will Sasikala and TTV Dinakaran apply pressure on OPS to launch a new political party? So these are all three options, 1, 2, 3. You have to analyze it. Since the legal thing has come out, even if OPS and EPS go to Supreme Court or lower court again, the verdict will be confusing. It will make a circles only. But politically, it is, my understanding is, who will have that authority to have the signature on two-leaf symbol on the voting day? So till elections, these cases are going to be contested on either for or against, either EPS or OPS. Finally, my understanding is the BJP formula will work. EPS, OPS, Dinakaran, Sasikala should unite to take on MK Stalin. DMK.
Okay, but we picked up a word from American Narayanan also of the Congress just a while ago, and if you heard him say this, but I'd still repeat it for you, he in fact questioned the very fact as to why is it that the Madras High Court is not taking a clear position, because earlier on the Madras High Court clearly was in the favor of EPS, directly or indirectly. It was the Madras High Court that handed over the AIDMK headquarters to the EPS as well. So why this turn of events now?
Madam, Congress always questions the court. Congress always questions the law because they are interesting in National Herald case. Therefore, they will go against court orders. We don't come into the court orders. We cannot pass judgment on court orders. But at the same time, you politically handle. Congress is a spent force in Tamil Nadu, madam. Who cares for Tamil Congress? So therefore, American Narayan view, for the sake of it, we can understand it. But it has no relevance.
But do you think those kind of questions can be asked of the court as well, from other political parties too?
How can you decide court? Whatever you present before the court, they give the judgment. Court does not know the other side. Court should have both sides. Though they heard it, the political aspects, court is not going to interfere. Court is going to say whether truly symbol will be with you or with X, with Y
so
or Z.
perhaps the
That's
court
all.
saw some merit in Team OPS's arguments is why this change.
Yeah, of course, I understand. It's a temporary victory for OPS. My understanding of the case is EPS has an organizational capacity. EPS has got 66 MLAs with him. OPS does not have even 2 MLAs. So these are all going to count before the Election Commission. You split that into High Court and the Election Commission.
Yes. And what about the next General Council meeting? Because, having weighed all your legal options, having the Madras High Court rule in your favor, after all this drama, a 2-month-long drama that was taking place within the AIDMK, still OPS needs, support from within the AIDMK. If he doesn't have the General Council members in his favor, it's surely not going to work out for him in the end.
No, it will not work out for either side. The General Council meeting will not be held. Only it's going to be a legal battle now because ADMK is split into 2 caste warring factions. Gounder and Thevar. So therefore you can't reunite them. My understanding is unless a powerful person from the center or within ADMK unite them, there is no question of unity in the ADMK aspect.
Okay, let me go back to Prapanch to really understand the sentiment on ground and what's the plan of Team OPS now. Prapanch, if you can hear me, we do see celebratory visuals coming in. But what about the next plan of action? It's really not the end of the road yet for the OPS camp as well.
Now once again we can see that there's a sense of celebration over here. It's a partial victory for O Panneerselvam. We need to understand this is not a complete victory because once again as for every victory of Edappadi Palanisamy, in fact O Panneerselvam in fact knocked the doors of the court and he went and challenged in the court, several courts, Madras High Court, Supreme Court, and similarly a similar course of action will be indeed taken by Edappadi Palanisamy also. Now this is not the end of it. He may go and challenge this particular order. In fact, we can also see that the General Council, because the argument initially was if at all there was a power struggle in the AIDMK camp, they should initially have an election between O Panneerselvam and Edappadi Palanisamy, and as per the party's initial bylaws, they should be elected by the primary members of the party, primary cadres of the party. Now that was the initial bylaw, because however we could see that O Panneerselvam was not in favor of the dual, was not in favor of the single leadership. He was constantly asking for dual leadership,
yes,
which essentially meant that he did not, he himself knew apparently that he may not have enjoyed that much of support because Edappadi Palanisamy was constantly, and his faction was also constantly asking for a single leadership. Now we could see once again if the status quo remains as before the 23rd of June, it is once again a challenge for O Panneerselvam because there is a growing, in fact, discontent among the cadres against the O Panneerselvam. and that may be showed because on June 23rd we saw that.
So certainly the Madras High Court order being seen as a partial relief for OPS at the moment. Let me go across to Mr. Rajashekaran joining us on this broadcast to get us a better sense of what the team OPS's plan is, the plan of action next is. Mr. Rajashekaran, how do you first up view the Madras High Court order? Status quo ante as on June 23rd has been maintained, has also ordered conduct of fresh General Council meet. But what's important is that still the EPS camp is extremely confident of the fact that how General Council members are in the favor of EPS, and this is certainly not the end of the road for OPS as well. He needs to come up with a strategy to pave a way forward.
Yes, the Honorable Madras High Court order is a good order in the interest of the ADMK party, because it is going to unite the party and the cadres. The fighting between two factions is going to lead to the destruction of the party and advantage DMK. So this order, if they are wise, if EPS and OPS are wise, they should go agree with whatever the Honorable Madras High Court has said, and they should unite in the interest of the legacy of Purachi Thalaivar MGR and Purachi Thalaivi J. Jayalalitha. Then only the party will become strong and they can win elections. If they are going to divide the party as factions, definitely it is going to be advantage for their opposition parties, which is against the ADMK. ADMK will be split and others will enjoy the benefits and reap the benefits.
Yes.
So, in the interest of the ADMK.
So this perhaps is another chance being given to both the camps to, come to terms with what the reality is and move towards each other, not away from each other. But realistically speaking, do you see that happening? I'd put that question to Mr. Rajagopalan as well. But what's your view?
I don't think. I differ from Mr. Rajashekaran's point of view.
Okay. So we'll first listen into what Mr. Rajagopalan is saying, and then you can answer the same, Mr. Rajashekaran. Go ahead, Mr. Rajagopalan.
My point is that, DMK will not be the beneficiary. The reason, sister, the court has given with the terminology of legal aspect, not the political aspect. You cannot unite them because ADMK has been split into two groups, Taylor group and Gowder group. Their ego clash is there. Now they will never unite. Having obtained that order, EPS will go to party headquarters, OPS will deny it, OPS will go to headquarters, EPS will deny. So this is going to be a zigzag feeling for another 1 or 2 years till the elections are fought. And the elections, how can you fight the elections? Under the two-leaf symbol. Who will have the authority to sign that election leave symbol? Then only party will be united under that particular leader. See, earlier, 2 persons were signing. Now, both of them are on a totally northeast pole, south pole, north pole like that. So you cannot go into an ego clash. It is a cash-ridden faction and it is not going to be advantage to DMK challenge. I am telling you that. Public are upset with the DMK government also. That factor you have to factor in our discussion.
Okay, Mr. Rajashekaran.
See, whatever Palan says is the perception of people sitting in Delhi. But whatever I'm saying, though it is not a political order, the legal order, the legitimate order from the Honorable Madras High Court is a strong message to the ADMK party factions, and in the interest of this order will help and enable the cadres and the leaders to unite, the second-ranking leaders to unite and become strong. If they don't take up this order in the right sense and spirit, it is going to boomerang, and it will advantage. Though people are unhappy with the DMK government, which I agree also.
So how do you see this happening, Rajashekaran? Mr. Rajashekaran, how do you see the two sides coming together? Up until now, it has come across as an ego battle. EPS has been batting for single leadership. OPS, not very confident of the numbers by his side, has been saying no, status quo must be maintained. So what's the way out really?
See, finally, if EPS appeals goes against this order, definitely one fine day the election commission will intervene and freeze the symbol. So ADMK survives only with the symbol, not with any leader's image, because those days are gone. There is no more, Jayalalitha is no more. The only two iconic leader where they were the cult personalities followed by the cadres and people voted for them. And of course, in DMK it was Kalaignar, Anna, and all these people are real icons of their own parties and their legacy. If EPS and OPS are going to take forward the ego fight, definitely ADMK will lose its credentials, and at the ground the cadres will either go mute or they will join some party which is relevant. So I partially agree with Rajagopalan. BJP will take this advantage to their favor.
Okay, Mr. Rajagopalan, now you've pointed out two things. You don't see the two sides coming together anytime soon, but you're also saying the end result is not going to be advantage DMK. Are you suggesting that the two sides will have to succumb to the political pressure, the political scenario that the elections call for, and will have to come together eventually with no options left really?
Yes, definitely. If you ask me, see, if a political party is floated, it is to win elections.
Let me come in.
To do service, they have to win election. Their representatives must go to the assembly.
Rajashekaran, the question is to me now.
So if they don't
Yes, that was for Mr. Rajagopalan, but I'm afraid I'm running out of time. I'll come back to you both in just a bit. We're slipping to a very short break here. Stay on with us.